So what I decided to do to kind of kill some time was to look at, we are at the end of the decade, kind of look at the best Red Sox team of the decade. So as I am wont to do, if you've got the video here, you can see at least 12 pieces of paper here stapled together. And what this is kind of a rundown of, oh, wait, there's a zoom. Yep, there's a little highlighter on that one too. Just a rundown of, how many, who played what position in this decade, who's your games played leader, to try to figure out, let's pick a Red Sox team of the decade.
Team of the decade.
And then I got done with it, and I realized that picking the Red Sox team of the decade is really pretty simple. You don't even really need to do a whole lot of digging. I was going to say, like, you've
done a lot of research and, empirical evidence there, and I was just thinking about it in the shower on my way here and pretty much set my team up, and I was like, you know what? The people that I picked, that's exactly who it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost walk. Well, let's walk through it real quick because it's not tough.
Okay, let's do it.
Catcher, it has to be Veritek anyway. I believe he's the only guy. Hatteberg, yeah. Veritek, I think, is the only guy who's played parts of all 10 seasons.
Yep.
He's got more than 1,100 games, and there's no one else who's got more than 350.
But he never got a police escort from the.
He never got a police escort. First base, you've got Kevin Youkilis, has played the latter half of the decade, and the games played leader there. The next two down the list are Kevin Millar with about 280 and Brian Daubach, and that's not really a debate at all. So second base has been shortstop, gets all the play as being the position the Sox can't settle on. But until Dustin Pedroia, they really hadn't had a lot of second. They've had, how many different guys here? 32 different guys play second base at some point during the decade.
Wow.
I think it goes to Pedroia just based on the fact that Mark Bellhorn and Todd Walker and Offerman are really your next three, for any consistency there. So, again,
Pedroia.
Not a whole lot of discussion.
This is controversial.
That's what I'm saying. Third base, Mike Lowell is your games played leader. There's some debate here because Bill Miller played 3 seasons right in that, right on both sides of the 04. He did win a batting title.
Yep.
Lowell has been very good defensively, but Miller was kind of one of those glue guys in the clubhouse, and in a way Lowell is too. I'm gonna solicit you guys for some input on here. How do you feel on the the Lowell Miller debate when it comes?
Tim, you want to just answer simultaneously with me? 1, 2, 3.
Bill
Lowell.
Miller.
Oh,
that's
come on!
Worked out perfect.
Are you serious?
The batting title.
Come on.
He won the batting title on a team that had Manny Ramirez on the team, David Ortiz on the team.
Those 03-04 teams were monsters offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look at it on both sides because Lowell had a very good postseason in 07. Part of that big deal to get that they traded Hanley Ramirez away for. And really, they basically traded Hanley Ramirez for a World Series if you look at Beckett and Lowell. I mean, I could legitimately see either one of them being the right answer.
Put it this way: if I was building a team, I would want Mike Lowell. If I have to pick a
Lowell's
team of the
a better
decade,
player.
I'd take Bill Miller.
Okay.
All right.
We'll just disagree on that. With
contracts aside,
we'll disagree with the understanding that I'm right.
Okay.
We jump ahead. Shortstop, I feel like, has to be Nomar.
Sure.
I mean, there's been so much upheaval after him, but he was
Although
he
didn't really do much in the decade. I'm looking at your stats here, he played 2000, 2001 he was injured, 2002, 2003 he had good years, then 2004 he was out of town.
He was on track for the Hall of Fame during those years. He was one of the best hitters we've probably seen if you look at individual seasons for the decade. I mean, he's hitting, above 350 with power.
When?
This is early in the decade.
Okay.
He had a good year in 99, but 2000 also. But I mean, look at who they've had. Games played after him is Lugo, Alex Cora, third, which is kind of scary
incredible.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
Then Alex Gonzalez and Renneria.
Yeah, it is odd when you see it all out there, how they just have had a bunch of dudes play 50, 60, 70 games there, and none of them really worked.
I'm just happy Craig Graybeck made the list.
Hell, he's on the list, don't you worry. I'm sure Jose Iglesias will be the 2010 shortstop of the decade. So,
all right.
Left field
Manny
has to be Manny, no matter what. That's
that's Manny being Manny. He's great.
Yeah, you can't. There's no argument.
Center field has been. There's not really a debate. Damon's your games played leader, and behind him is Crisp, Ellsbury, Everett, and then Trot Nixon in spot duty. Trot Nixon
played 90 games in center field for the Red Sox.
All between 2000 and 2003. This was before his body fossilized towards the latter part.
And how many of those games did he play where he was just wicked mad?
He probably ran very hard during most of the games.
I like Trot Nixon. Yeah, Damon, I guess,
Damon,
right?
Yeah,
between what he did offensively and what he did in the field. Right field, Nixon's your runaway leader. Drew, I'm a Drew guy, but Nixon was here for all of those years and just established himself, very strong defensively, and he was a good offensive player before those latter couple of years.
I don't know.
You could go for Drew there?
I'd say there's at least a debate there. I mean, Drew, he's only played 3 years. If he'd played 4 or 5 years, I don't think it would be a debate. I think Drew's
excellent defensively.
I think he's a better player than Nixon.
He's been outstanding in the playoffs. He's that sort of demeanor that he has that everyone gets on him for. It just pays off in those big spots because there's no spot too big for him.
Yeah, Nixon, I always thought was kind of like overrated, underrated. Like everyone thought he was underrated, but he was kind of, what did he really do?
Well,
but then again, right fielders in Major League Baseball over the last decade, it hasn't really been a big numbers position, correct?
Yeah, it has and it hasn't.
It's baseball
stuff. I mean, if it's not us picking and it's the fans picking, Nixon's kind of the sentimental choice because, the whole Dirt Dog era.
Right. But I'm saying like the Dirt Dog era, I mean the flaws of the Dirt Dog era.
He didn't produce like Drew does.
He was a producer, maybe not to Drew's stats, but he was a complimentary bat on those 03-04 teams.
But it was also during the time when the numbers were inflated. And if
but
Drew's numbers are better now than Nixon's were then how much better are they on a relative scale? They're probably significantly better. Although I don't even know that his numbers are that much better than Nixon's.
I would say that there could be a debate there. I tend to think if, like you said, if Drew maybe had one more season, then maybe we've got more of a talk.
Can I just give it to Gabe Kapler?
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll break the tie.
It's all meaningless. And then DH,
DH is a tough one.
Ortiz. Manny is actually the second most used DH in the decade.
But he
230
like
times
playing,
he DH.
230 times he DH. And third, which I think we're going to get to later, the third most used DH for the Red Sox this decade was Dante Bichette, who I believe is the worst player that the team had in the decade.
He's not high on the list of good ones.
We may debate that later. But